What's up, YouTube? On this podcast, Craig and I sat down with the best-selling author of No Fear Speaking, Joe Yakbeck, who is also an expert in communication. You don't want to miss this. Your communication skills will go to the next level. As always, hit that subscribe button for us if you haven't already. And if you have a comment or question, please leave it below. Thanks for watching.
One shot, now the future is yours.
This is Craig Beggins back for an interesting little conversation today with, I don't know if I've told you guys, I'm part of Vistage International, which is a worldwide CEO group. And we got a group of about 14 guys that get together every month. And we generally bring in world-class speakers to educate us on different topics. And last month, our speaker was a guy named Joe Yakbeck, who is the president of Premier Leadership
Prestige
Leadership Advisors. And he came to speak to my group and gave us all a copy of his book called No Fear Speaking. And I said, we are teaching our agents to do a lot of social media posting, videos, things like that. I wonder if you would benefit any of our agents with how to speak and communicate better. So he said, I'd love to try. And so I'd like to introduce you to Joe Yazbeck.
Oh, thank you.
And along with us is Mike Puma. We're going to try to teach him how to speak clearly as well.
I think he does a pretty darn good job.
I need the coaching for sure.
I don't know of anyone that doesn't need coaching in one way or another.
That's true. We all need it in some way.
I'm a student of my own profession, guys. Believe me, I'm not sitting here because I know everything.
Right.
We learn. This is what drives us, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we were talking, agents are communicating all the time. And we actually say that real estate, we're not in the real estate business. We're in the people and communications business. So whether we're talking to, we're making a listing presentation, we're meeting a buyer for the first time, we're answering a phone call from a Zillow lead or just a regular sign call, that's all communication. And what are some tips that they could use to do better?
All right, you just hit the nail on the head right there. Is it the head on the nail? I'm not sure which it is. But in this case, there isn't any aspect of any organization, whether it's real estate or any other product or service that's being delivered to the public, that doesn't depend in one way or another on communication, whether it's recruiting, marketing, running meetings, executive delegation, networking, sales. Think about it. Referring, right? It's all communication, which means basically, how do we connect to people?
Yep.
And
boy, sounds like Jeff, doesn't he? Connections.
It's true.
It is true.
Communication and connection. That's the age we live in. Think about the age we live in. We no longer live in the information age.
It's communication age.
Correct.
Sure.
And Mike, you are a guru in social media for this company, and you understand the importance of social media. Well, this is an age where you have to visually connect. So I say, if you're going to communicate, you want to fully show up. Like really show up, and don't make a less or any lesser standard of something because it is a lesser task. Like answering a phone call, or maybe even talking to the receptionist of a company, and that receptionist is your gatekeeper, Oh, yeah. And it's so important to communicate well because they're thinking to themselves, do I want this person around me who's acting like this or speaking like this? It's either going to be hell yes or hell no, So you're making an impression by how interested that you are in others.
Yes.
And I'm going to tell you, that's the simple thing, and I'll end off on this one with this point. If you stop trying to be interesting and be interested and start asking questions based on what you observe, when you're speaking with a buyer, a seller, another agent, a cross-industry representative like a title insurance person or mortgage person or a banking officer, it is all about you're extending them what they need and want by finding out from them what is it they need and want and how do they want it delivered.
That's funny. So I mentioned the Zillow leads a little while ago.
Yeah.
It's really awkward because when you buy a Zillow lead, you're just an agent in a zip code and you get randomly assigned other people's listings. So the caller calls up and says, hey, they think you're the listing agent. They're calling on some listing in some zip code that you know nothing about, and they think you're the listing agent. So the caller comes in, hey, yeah, I want more information on 123 Any Street. And you're going, bum, 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 oh no, I don't know what to say. So the first recordings I got were people saying, well, I'm not at my computer right now. Can I call you back later? kiss of death.
Exactly.
You got that lead on the phone and you blew it, right?
Yeah.
So I started writing down questions. Well, let me tell you, what was it about that house that made you call on it? Right?
Perfect.
So that was like the golden gift to the agent to say, here's some words to use. What was it about this house that they called about? Are you just interested in this one, or are you interested in others like it? Would you like me to do some research and pull a whole bunch of other stuff for you? And you just bought yourself time and showed them that you're interested in what they're doing.
That's
So
brilliant.
It ties in with what you're
That's
talking
brilliant, Craig. Because what you're teaching them there is a people skill.
Right.
You're teaching them, what am I asking? What do I want to find out? This is not about a house or a property. This is about the buyer or the seller. And this is about an individual who has needs and wants. And it's up to the agent to find out everything about that person.
Yep.
I mean, the more a salesperson in any capacity understands the prospect or client, the more successful they'll be.
Yep.
What do we need to do to have more understanding of that client? We need to ask
I
questions.
mean, it's one of the things that we've taught our agents recently. If you're going on a listing presentation or going to meet with a potential client, there is zero reason that you're not going on LinkedIn especially, and at the very least looking at what do they do for a living? What did they do for a living, right? Because if I see that they are a CPA and have been an accountant their entire life, I instantly know how I need to shape my communication skills when I sit in front of them. What can I expect? Now I know more information about them and how they typically perceive data going into the conversation, that I can make the conversation so much more contextual to them, which obviously enhances all.
Yeah, there's a chapter, this is really good. There's a chapter in my book, the very first chapter. It's called Know Your APP. A stands for audience. Now, this is a book on speaking, on communications, right? But who is your audience?
Yep.
Know them before you go in. Do a little research, do a demographic profile. What do they care about? How are they affiliating? Who are they affiliating with? Maybe they are affiliating with the SPCA or the Humane Society, or they're interested in children, or that kind of thing. And then your conversation, like, why do we communicate? We're communicating to build reality with people. If we build reality with people, in other words, form agreements, they're more likely to trust and like you, right?
100%.
That's why we communicate.
Yeah.
So it's really worth it, not just to go out, well, let's see, they're interested in buying a house, so let's see what I could do for them. And maybe I could show them how fantastic I am and how much I know about this business, regardless of the year and a half I just put in, or something of that nature. It makes no difference how much you know about your product unless, people know how much you care about them.
Yep.
That's the key.
I'm curious to get your thoughts on this, because
Sure.
I think this is something that I see a lot when it comes to communicating in a social environment. And I know my take on it, but I'm curious to get your take. So I think one of the issues agents struggle with when they go to do their organic posts, right? Whether it's Facebook, Instagram, doesn't matter, whatever social platform, is knowing their audience, right? You're going to get that point back of, well, I have a lot of diversity in my audience, right? So who is my audience? And my always take is, who do you want, right? What kind of client are you trying to attract? Who are they? What do they care about? And then give them that. And if they don't care about that, they're going to keep scrolling, and you need
correct.
to be okay with that, right? That's the advice I give. But what's your take on that?
Okay, that is actually very good advice. Here's the thing. Let's say, for example, LinkedIn.
Yep.
LinkedIn has a very sophisticated business mentality, intellect, and they want professionalism in every way, shape, or form.
Yep.
And they're going to smell non-professionalism if you're trying to sell them without building a relationship.
Yep.
Okay? So
Don't get married on
The
the first
worst.
date.
Yeah, don't get married on the
Exactly.
first date.
I hate to say it, but it's sort of like, okay, a little foreplay before we get, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
absolutely.
Which is what sales is. You've got to get people warmed up a little bit and in rapport with you. Well, what does that mean? Well, you don't have to go out and tell them, I'm a real estate agent. I've got this house for sale. If anybody's interested, no. I just want to say, I came across this book. I got a lot out of it. It made me really look at and wonder about, where we're going in the future. And here's my quote, and love to get your feedback on it.
Yep.
Something as simple as that. And you're getting it because it's a like-minded philosophy you're giving them, and you want to attract people that have a like-minded philosophy, right?
Yeah.
So you can engage in a conversation with them. Now, what I do with my LinkedIn responders is I don't know what it is intuitive. but I'll get a text from them. They'll respond to something, and I'll respond back, and we'll have a conversation. Hey, you want to chat by phone? Then we get to chat by phone.
Mm-hmm.
Then we chat by phone. Hey, you want to do a Zoom call?
Yeah.
Then we'll do a Zoom call. And before you know, we're having a conversation. You know, I really like this and blah, blah, blah. We haven't talked about buying, selling, anything.
Right.
Nothing. It's building the relationship.
Yep.
And then I invite them in. So we went through 4 or 5 steps to get to the point where they're driving in to see me at my training center to discuss either leadership, public relations, branding, public speaking, their business, whatever it might be, and still having a conversation with no, end in mind, so to speak. The end in mind always is a discovery. We're discovering whether we can do business or not, but if we don't, we don't, and that may end up where they're referring people.
Yep. Absolutely.
But that's the power of communication.
100%.
And I think what you just said is absolutely correct. You're building a relationship based on getting like-minded communications from people. And if
Right.
they're not responding, they're not responding.
Yeah, I think trying to not be your authentic self and play in the middle and communicate in the middle is where people struggle, right? They try and stay in this middle where I don't really want to tell people I like this, or I don't want to show this, or people who like this may not like this, so I don't want to go here, even though I like this. I don't want them to, and obviously I try and stay away from politics and all of that. But if I'm a hunter trying to pretend like I don't like hunting, right? And to me, that's caused a lot of issues.
People pick it up.
Yeah, you can sniff
They
that.
can tell
You can
it's
tell.
it's like covert fraudulence.
Absolutely.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Covert fraudulence.
It's like white collar crime. They think it's not a crime just because it's not against the law.
That's why I love social, though. Social exposes everyone. At some
does.
point, you're going to get exposed if that's the game you're trying to play.
Yeah,
So,
there's a chapter, again, I don't mean to be hobby horsing
absolutely.
my book, but there's a chapter in the book, and exactly what you said, authentic versus synthetic speaking.
It makes sense.
Read it. I mean,
Yeah.
what is an authentic speaker? Just be who the hell you
from your
are.
heart.
Right.
Everybody else is taken.
Yeah.
Yeah. And don't dilute it. Don't add to it. Don't try to be a different identity. Just, okay, this is what I believe. And this is what I care about. And I'm going to express this outwardly. And it's best to express it on camera and have it out there as a video because people are going to see it coming through your eyes that it's authentic.
Absolutely. I think so. I'm interested to get your take on this. So I don't do a lot of things very well. One thing I have learned over the years is to be a pretty good communicator. I don't mind speaking. I love speaking actually in front of people. So it's never been a fear of mine, even though a lot of people struggle with it, right? So for me though, I've always taken the approach of whether it's us having a one-on-one conversation or me standing on a stage in front of 2,000 people, it's the same type of conversation, right?
Correct.
That's all we're doing. I'm
Correct.
just having a bigger conversation or a smaller conversation.
right.
So for me, it's mentally, there's never been an issue. I know a lot of people, my wife being one of them, who she'll sit here and be the most social person one-on-one. She would rather kill you than step foot on a stage in front of 2,000 people, right? So what do you think is that mental switch? Because whether it's stepping on a stage or whether it's even creating more practical to our audience, creating a video of themselves to put on social.
Yeah.
They can sit here and have a conversation with you about real estate all day. You ask them to take that conversation and film it and put it on social, and they'll never do it.
It's a change of mindset. It really is, but it can be trained and drilled because it's a talent that can be developed. There's no doubt about that. And I've had reindeer eyes and headlights on camera. I've had to coach that. It's unbelievable when you see it. You're a very good communicator. You're an exceptional communicator. You're having a conversation here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to have a conversation in front of 2,000 people, same thing. It's a one-on-one.
Right.
Now, there are people that need to look out and not think. And when I say, like, for example, my advice to your wife, is have her come in and see me. I'll give her a free session, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good. I'll send her your way.
Send her my way, right? The idea, though, is when you're in here, it's not good because you need to be out here. And when
Yeah.
you're looking out and extending space outwardly in front of an audience, let's say you've got 1,000 people.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? You're including all those people in your space, but you're not in here thinking, you're out there looking. And when you're looking, you're seeing everything. And it actually calms you down. It's a very powerful thing. Looking is an action.
Yeah.
Thinking is not.
Makes
Thinking
sense.
is internal, and your space closes in when you're thinking. And that's
Right.
all that's going on with people. And so there are skill building exercises in our
And you think
repertoire.
that applies even if I'm just shooting a video?
Well, you're looking at a camera right now. Okay,
Yep.
I see that camera, and it's a person. But I'm looking far more than just the camera. I see the entire room. As I'm looking at the camera, I see the roof, I see the ceiling, I see the walls. It's peripheral, and my space is bigger, and I'm sending my communication through the camera. Hey, how's it going, man? You want some coffee? Yeah, you good? You hungry? I mean, it's a person.
Right.
And I'm connecting to one person, although it's connecting to millions, let's say.
Yeah.
And every one of those millions are getting the feeling like I'm talking to them.
Got it.
I remember that advice from our session we did.
At Vistage.
At Vistage.
Yeah, that was a great group, by the way.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
fun
I
group.
love that group. Yeah.
I think that's super important though, because a lot of agents, I have a theory that it's a mental
Yeah,
block,
agents
right?
need to get out. Real estate agents need to get on camera and get on in some way in front of audiences. You know, go to the Realtor Association where you can do events. Go to a chamber
Yeah.
of commerce and promote. You see, and you can do a video 1 to 2 minutes and get on camera and talk about why you love real estate so much and how you love helping people.
Do you
You
think
know?
it's so? You think it is do you think the fear that a lot of people have? You think that is easily overcome by just doing it?
No, I think
would be your
that,
advice?
well, doing it certainly is going to help you overcome it, but do you know how to change the engine of a car, hoist it out of a chassa and put it back in? No, you're going to be nervous about it, right?
Yeah, I know someone to call though.
I don't. Maybe some of us do, but
Yeah.
I don't. But if you're prepared and trained and you know how and know what you're doing, your confidence level goes way up.
Right.
And your nervous level and your fear level goes down because you have certainty on what you're doing. That can be trained into.
Got it. So do you think though the fear of other people's opinions holds them back from being able to do it?
I think it is I've had a lot of executives and like CEO types come across my plate who feared embarrassment and humiliation as to why they're not standing in front of an audience or a camera.
Right.
You see, that's
We're good
it.
at that. We say stupid things all the time.
Yeah. They don't want to risk their credibility or reputation. So, but it's like I said, it's training. It's getting the skills. And once you have the skills and you hone those skills, it's effortless. It's like an athlete. You take
Yeah.
an athlete through enough drills and practice, pretty much it becomes second nature. They know where they're supposed to be at any one given time.
Yeah.
Okay, and they know their basic technique well enough. I have to think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a learned skill. My dad taught me very young, right, to be very comfortable getting in front of people,
Yeah.
and it helped me. And I mean, I have 2 boys, right, 6 and a 9-year-old, and we started a little YouTube show, and I did
Wow,
it primarily
awesome.
just to get them comfortable sitting there and having fun and being themselves. And it's not scripted, and they're goofy and they're silly, but they're super comfortable being in front of the camera, probably more comfortable than 90% of our agents
It's true
are.
because they don't consider
And they don't
that
think about
They
it.
don't think about it. They're
But that's
doing
the
it.
biggest thing. That's what made me realize that I think for a lot of people, it's that fear of embarrassment, and that fear holds them back because my kids don't have any fear, right? They don't care what anyone thinks. They don't care about being silly. They don't care about making a weird face, right? But as adults, that fear is like in us.
so
Like
true.
it's such an interesting
It really
mental.
is. That's a very good point. Interesting.
I was thinking this morning, I throw out little tidbits of information that I hope the agents will take advantage of and take his advice and post it. So like in Florida, November 30th is you get a 4% discount on your property taxes.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
If you pay your property taxes in full by November 30th, it's a 4% discount off the tax bill. That's just a great nugget for an agent to go live with and make that mark.
Really?
And I've got a good audience that watches me live when I do these classes, and they're honest with me. And I say, how are you going to do that? And no, they just don't do it.
No.
And that is literally a 30-second, not even, selfie video. Hey guys, it's Craig. Got a little real estate tidbit for you. If you pay your property taxes in full by November 30th, it's a 4% discount. That can add up to a lot of money. Hope you do it.
Yeah, make sure that's in your real estate article. Listen to Craig Beggins, man. Just listen to him and just take his advice. Look at what he's built, for God's sakes. That's
Yeah.
what I want to know. I want to know who the hell is successful around here.
Yep.
And, that's another key element is, learning from people who know how to do it.
Well, I think I need to get a book like you have so I can become an expert.
I'll help you.
You said you'd help me do
Yeah,
that.
hell, I'd love to.
Preamble
Absolutely.
to my book is we call it It's Not About Your Split. Because anybody who leaves a brokerage for an extra 10% when they're leaving 100% on the table doesn't understand math.
That's
Absolutely.
right.
If our tools and topics can get you an extra transaction that puts $6,000 in your pocket, and you're going to make an extra 10% someplace else and get an extra $600, you got to do 10 transactions on your own to make up the same cash you would have made by staying at the broker that supports you and teaches you what to do.
Those numbers speak for themselves.
Yeah,
They
for
sure
sure.
do.
But it all comes back to the ability to communicate, because we have some very, very smart agents on our team.
Yes, we do.
They have you in their ear every single day, right? They have me in their ear, Jeff in their ear, giving them valuable things that work, right? This isn't theory. That's the greatest part about what we do.
That's
Is
true.
we're actually practitioners. We are doing this, right? From a marketing perspective, I never advise someone to do something that I haven't done or am not currently doing right now myself with our own dollars, right? But all of those things, it's like reading all the books in the world and having the knowledge here and never actually deploying it. And that's the problem. And that's why we have you here, hopefully to spark something new for them, because that's the issue. You still have to be able to take that information and then go communicate it to someone. And that's the part where I think it is a drastic fall off.
I agree. And I want to say this, and that is every agent needs to make a decision for themselves that they want to be better, they want to reach more, they want to achieve more, they want to learn more. What do they want to?
Maybe that's the problem.
The why. Yeah.
That's a what?
Maybe that's the problem. They don't want to
Well,
reach more.
then,
they don't want to do
then
more.
they have to examine their own conscience.
Yep.
Yeah.
They have to take a look, and quite honestly, maybe you should be in the real estate business. You should be in some other business.
Absolutely.
You see? And you're in the real estate business because somebody thought it'd be a great idea and you didn't want to make them feel upset, or you're in it for just the money and nothing else, which is not reason to be into anything. It's just for the money.
Right.
The money is a payoff for what you love to do, and you want to make as much money as you can so you can continue to do what you love, right? And that's the way it
Yeah.
should be, right?
Absolutely.
But it's a decision.
Yeah. I think it comes back to that point. It's the why. It's what is their reason for doing it? And we always come back to that. I mean, it's so funny. Everything we talk about stems back to that, whether it's...
It is.
Because if
that
you have a
interview I
why, you're
watched
going to
you
do it.
last week with a girl, recently divorced, got a hefty alimony check and child support. I asked her if she needs to work, and she doesn't need to work. That's a tough one. And a lot of real estate, I don't know if you know this, but a lot of real estate agents are not,
I do know that.
they don't need to work.
Yeah.
They're not going to miss their mortgage or rent payment if they don't make a sale this month.
Yeah, and sometimes it would be there are lots of people that work businesses and jobs that aren't really in it for the passion of the business, but the money they're making finances their passion.
Right.
It could be a legacy kind of thing. So
Yeah.
that's another thing to look out for. We might have agents that really care about maybe humanitarian causes or something.
Be
something of
anything.
that
Well, that's
nature.
what's real estate so great. You can make your money and apply it wherever you want.
Exactly.
Right.
And with the amount of money you can make, I mean, you're talking $4, $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10, $15, $20,000 on a sale.
Exactly.
I mean, if you did
nuts.
that once a month,
You
that's
know,
a lot of money.
and it's a very helpful thing to do. You're putting people in a very safe, comfortable space where they can raise their family and have some freedom.
Yeah.
I was honored yesterday. I got a call from friends of mine, not elderly, but older friends of mine. They're financial planners. They have a wealth management company. It's very successful, been around for a long time. I would say they're definitely in their late 70s now. And they came across a real estate need. And these are very wealthy financial planners. And they called me for real estate advice. That was pretty cool. And
Yeah.
then, boy, did I give it to them. Right?
Yeah.
But solid, boom, 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 the right things, which turned into a training class this morning because we got into backup contracts and all kinds of cool stuff that were an opportunity. But that
Yeah,
goes
that's
back to
reputation, though, Craig. So
Yeah,
you,
it is.
it's, and I'll tell you why, Mike. Mike or Michael? I'm sorry.
Mike.
Mike. You know, you're out here, you're delivering, you're visible, you're exposing truths and principles about your business. You care about getting people the right, solutions and the help.
Yep.
You're vocal.
That's what we like. That's
And-
my
brand.
favorite part.
Exactly, and you know what? That pays off because that's real public relations, and that shows up in the brand that you are. Oh, that's Craig Beggins. Yeah, they're really they're a broadcast company as well as a real estate agency.
Well, it's
becoming
brand,
one.
though. It is brand, but brand's built by constant communication.
Exactly.
So it's just,
Right.
just communicating our truths over and over and over again, which builds brand. Right?
you bet.
Now, you've worked with many real estate agents, right? Not just with our company, with other brokerages.
Yes.
I'm assuming some of them at least have made the turn and become better communicators and more successful, right?
Yeah, I've just had one recently. Number one, may I say another name?
Sure.
Okay, number one agent at Berkshire Hathaway.
Okay.
I think
Good
in
brand.
probably Central Florida, right? He came to me. He's now an author of a best-selling book, which I helped
Wow.
assist him. He's now creating curriculum based on that book to attract agents to his business, and he's really what I liked about working with people like this is they really believe in, and they're the embodiment of what they're professing in their work.
Right.
You see, and so he's starting to. But agents, I worked with an agent who was a captive guy with Prudential here locally,
Okay.
and when he worked with me on leadership and public speaking skills, decided to move out, go on at his own, and he is now responsible for about 2,000 agents.
Wow.
So anyway, I won't bring up names because I don't have their agreement to do that.
Yeah.
But you can see them on my website, and or just on my LinkedIn page.
Yeah, you said you had 19,000 followers on LinkedIn?
Close to 19,000 followers on LinkedIn.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a
And
lot.
I did this because communication is on LinkedIn is where I live on LinkedIn. But I get a
love
lot
it.
of word of mouth and a lot of
Yeah.
referral. But LinkedIn is, I find, even locally, I want people to come visit.
Yeah.
And so I think probably half of those are local and half are international and outside. Because I've done a lot of tours internationally. So.
Well, can we give our audience a
Oh,
shameless
yeah,
plug for your
sure.
book?
Thank you.
Absolutely.
So the book is called No Fear Speaking by Joe Yakbeck. And how would they buy this if they wanted to buy
Well,
it?
they can buy this book on Amazon. They can buy the audio book on Audible, Amazon, iTunes. They can go to nofearspeaking.com and download whatever they want. There's also quick reference guides, and there's free stuff on nofearspeaking.com. And so thank you for that. And this book has been kind of a real launch pad for me because I've been able to get some international presence out of it, and it's now published in 8 languages.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Thank
That
you.
is awesome.
Really enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah,
It's
no,
great.
I think this is very helpful for our agents. We really do.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah,
You're great.
absolutely.
You're very good.